No, it's not the shirt. It's your fucked up, decrepit face. That's what it is. Get a grip. Stop using pictures from like 30 years ago. Come on now. Like, I got a challenge for you, Tony. Take a picture of yourself right now and send it. And I'll take a picture of myself right now and I'll send it. And go. Oh, wait, you're not gonna do that because you're an insecure little bitch. I just went out to dinner with my family and I had a little bit of tequila at the Mexican restaurant, so.
And she does mean a little bit.
That's probably why I'm slurring. That margarita was strong and I didn't even drink half of it.
You didn't even drink a third of it.
Well, shut up.
Or a quarter.
I tried. I did my best, okay? I gave 110%.
Yeah, you did.
Oh my god, Cherokee, you like seriously made my night. You have no idea. Yes, exactly the way you worded that. And it was either my first or second video ever that I made regarding Caitlyn. I touched on how it can seem like because everybody in your personal life, and even people not in your personal life, just everybody you know in your reality, it can make it feel like that's all there is, and if they're all hateful to you or don't care about you and disregard your feelings or bully you, then literally you feel like your existence is a reflection of, like, you feel like you deserve it. And so it's so hard to believe that if you just wait it out, or not wait it out, but deal with it, even if you don't deal with it, if you just, get hurt but continue on getting hurt, that eventually there will be somebody, anybody, a stranger, somebody. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for children who are living in some third world countries and literally have no chance. But if you're in a country like this, while it may not be perfect, it's kind of like the difference between a domestic animal that wanders off and stumbles across a human versus, a creature in the forest. There is going to be someone there 9 times out of 10. So I like your message, Ian. I like the simplicity of yours version. I'm feeling like crazy tonight, by the way. I'm pulled over in the Walmart parking lot. I'm supposed to be bringing home food, but I'm feeling like I had this long talk with Tim earlier, but I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like he just grins the whole time I talk, and he just like nods, and it's just when I'm trying to talk about anything serious, it's kind of met with just like this, like, I don't know, think of the troll emoji. The troll emoji, or not emoji, but it's like that meme of that troll face. It's just got that like shit-eating grin. And so like, I don't know if, I don't know. But it dealt with just like how I want things to change in our life. Like the deal with the kids too, like them getting to go on a vacation once in their life. I was like, I know you have, and I realize who all's in this chat. I really don't care. I think this is the one, Tony. If it is, okay. If it's not, okay. But I was like, everybody has standards, and everybody has like, and what is a standard? A standard is essentially what we feel we deserve in our life. And I know that most heterosexual men, their standard is a woman pleasing them sexually. Like that's up, a woman they love if they're a decent man. And for a woman, well, for me, my standard, I like newness. I like transformation, whether it's physical transformation, transformation of my settings, even if it's just going to a different park. I just don't like having to be in the same walls every single day, go on the same one street every day, and so I said, you want your standards met? Well, my standards have to be met also. And I was looking on vrbo.com, and I saw like a cabin that had like an indoor pool. In the wintertime, you could actually like go in a jacuzzi, like a steam pool thing outside, even when it's snowing outside, which seemed pretty neat, although they don't seem sanitary to me. And I was like, it was $100 per night, which may sound like a lot, and it is a lot, but considering we'd never go on a vacation, just like one time, considering he has spent that much in a month on his Warcraft game, I don't think it should be a big deal. So, and he just, the whole time I was saying all that, he was just like trying to hug me, just smiling, going, I'm just like, I said, okay, any feedback at all? That's like, it's just, there's no like normal, there's no gray area. It's like quiet, arguing, or that. There's also like just not much discussion in general ever. But I don't know, which brings me to my next thought. I've been thinking of this for a little over a year now, but since we're more aware of all the suffering and death around us in the world, I've really been inspired to, that brings to that really makes my own mortality more in my face, you know, that my end is near anytime. And so because of that, because I have 2 children, I really want to make a book that, and not even necessarily publish it. I just want to make a book for my kids to leave with them of basically what not to do and what to do. Like, but more of what not, like what to avoid in life and what not to assume and how to enter a relationship. You know, even if it's something really small, like I think about this all throughout the day. Like I need to put that in the book. I need to put this in the book. I need to put that in the book. Like just a minute ago, I was thinking about how, you know, none of us, we some of the most the most self-proclaimed open-minded people assess to know every little thing about a person, what they're thinking and what their motives are and all this. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of doing that. And we never actually really know a person. Like we never actually really know a person, you know, and that's something I'd want to put in the book is never assume that you know everything about a person, like what they're thinking, what their intentions. Never assume that. Like it's okay to have ideas, but never think that, like, be 100% certain about anyone, whether it's good or bad. Because a big lesson in my life that I want my kids to be aware of is trusting somebody can either be one of the best decisions of your life, you know, if you open up your arms to someone, or it can be one of the worst, irreversible choices you make in your life. So when you decide to trust someone or not trust someone, that's a serious decision. Anyway, I guess I'm leaving this here because when I say something out loud, it sticks with me more. Yeah, Tim doesn't even really like to walk around I say doesn't really, like as if there's ever any little, no, he never will do anything that requires leaving the house if it's not work. And, so I can't, sorry, I'm driving. Yeah, so I mean, like, I think that's why he was grinning and not actually, like, talking. Like, I think that's because he didn't want to say no. Or he didn't want to say, like, well, you and the kids can. Because I think that's what his response would have been if he had actually used his big boy words. I sincerely like Cherokee. Not that my opinion matters. I sincerely find her, even if she didn't like me one day, I would still sit back and admire how far she's come in life, despite the horrible upbringing that she had, and how she stands up for herself and defends people and forgives people and reflects on herself and tries to improve herself every single day. You can't say the same thing for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who do zero self-reflection and don't. I am a work in progress. She is a work in progress. Everybody should be a work in progress. That doesn't make us any less of a masterpiece. And I just can't believe you spoke for me and said I pretend to like her. I don't pretend to like anybody unless I am fearing for my life. You in the last 6 months have suddenly come out and claimed to have never threatened any of us shows that maybe you have done a little self-reflection, but your ego won't allow you to admit that you've been wrong about certain things. But the fact that you deny that you've threatened us, despite there being like countless screenshots of it and you knowing that you have deep down, just shows that you regret threatening us, or else you wouldn't deny it. I think the real reason, Tony, that you hate the internet so much and you want so much of the internet wiped away is because all of the catfishing and horrific things that you do that are actually illegal online, that involve younger girls, you can't stand that it can be archived and used against you. That's what you don't like about it. And that's why you're so quick to defend people like Anthony. And you can do your goofy little handwriting. The fact that you won't talk to any of us on the phone or on the camera speaks volumes. Because if you had nothing to hide and you truly felt, if you truly believed what you were saying, then you would have absolutely no problem using your voice. Guess who else won't use their voice publicly? Oh, that's right, Anthony. Wonder why. And you want to know one of the number one tactic that true bullies like to do? They like to call the people, their targets who defend themselves, bullies. And that's what you do. You go after people, you threaten them, you attack, and then you want to be a crybaby and whine in the corner and point at your targets and call them bullies when they defend themselves. And gosh forbid they huddle together in a group of support and love. Gosh forbid they do that. Then you're going to call them a cult. And you're gonna keep whining like a little baby in the corner, pointing your finger. They're bullying me. Oh! It's so transparent, and at this point, all of your stuff that's archived online, honestly, I'm really surprised that a video hasn't been composed yet of everything that you've done to everyone online in the last 2 years. One day, you're gonna threaten the wrong person, because see, you've been bullying a bunch of empaths. You've been bullying a bunch of people who don't believe in being revengeful, because we know that doesn't actually fix anything. But one day you're going to bully someone who's not a softie. You're going to bully someone who's impulsive like you. And when you start threatening them, they're going to pull up all the attacks you've done to people in the last 2 years. They're going to pull up all your real photos from Facebook. And it won't matter if you have them blocked, because they're going to make another account and they're going to put all your stuff in a video exposing you. And they're going to do the same thing that you've done to all of us. And they're going to send this exposed video to all of your friends, family, work people, everyone. It's easy to find. It's on your page. It's on other pages, and they've all been archived. Even your friends list has been archived. So there would be no escaping it. But maybe that's what you've really been wanting all this time. Maybe you keep poking and shoving people and stuff, hoping that you anger them enough to where they expose you, because you so badly are desperate for attention that even if it's bad attention, that'll make you happy. Maybe that's what you really want. I mean, the fact that you brought up a few comments up in this chat that Cherokee mentions your name in her live stream, knowing that she does it in a very negative way, the fact that you somehow interpret that as a good thing for you, you can't even stop talking about me, just shows that you feed off of that sort of attention. Actions speak louder than words. You can pretend all you want, and that's why you say that we pretend, because you're projecting. You can pretend, but you like that. You want someone to make a video about you, don't ya?
You literally just told me that you CGI'd my face onto porn videos and expect me to believe it, and you're trying to take it back 2 seconds later. And you're stupid for telling me that because number one, it's illegal, and number two, why the fuck would you tell me something like that if you wanted to ruin my life so bad? Like, that whole anonymous illusion you're trying to keep, it's not really working when you explain your plots in detail to the people you don't like. I think you just like to fucking run your mouth, is what it is.
Yep.
I don't know why you send me this shit because I never click on it. It is, like, worth less than nothing to me. It is 100% illegal to put somebody else's image on a porn site without their permission, whether it was pornographic content or not. And why don't you say hi to him yourself? He's sitting right here. I mean...
Hey, fuckface.
Oh, but you won't do that because you're a fucking pussy. I forgot about that.
Big nose, limey prick.
He's cockeyed, too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
He's got mutton chops, too. Like he's like in Motorhead or some shit. Like, fuck you, dude.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper with sideburns. Oh, and did you also hear that you're cheating on me?
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's news. Wow. Is someone else taking my dick and using it when I'm not around? Huh. That's funny.
By the way, you keep spelling his name wrong. It's not Z-A-C-K. You're responding directly to what I say and saying it's directed towards Ian. Do you think I'm stupid, or is it just that you're stupid?
It's he's stupid. It's he's stupid.
Like-
Let me say to you on that. He's fucking stupid.
He's like, it's not illegal, when I told him it was illegal for him to put it shit on a porn site, and he was responding directly to me. Me and him have been the only ones talking, but now he's not talking to me. He's talking to Ian, and he said
really?
to say hi to you because he calls you a monkey, I guess, because you climb rocks.
Oh, yeah.
But all of a sudden he's not talking to you now that you're right beside me.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he wants to call me a monkey, it's because I'll fucking gouge out his fucking eyeballs and I'll fucking tear his nutsack off. Alright?
There's only one reason a man your age would have cryptic, obscured YouTube channels where you're uploading nightcore videos of anime girls singing about being, pubescent things and prepubescent things in voices like this. There's only one reason that a man would do that and not post them on his actual Facebook page. We all know what you're doing. We all know what kind of girls you're hoping to lure into your web, quite literally. It's absolutely disgusting. And every time that NM person, I don't know who they are, but every time they leave you a comment, you bring up Tammy and say, well, someone's got to pay for the mother's whatever. Everybody sees through it. We all know what you're doing. We all know what you're doing. Only a narcissist would give someone a little bit of money and then hold it over that person's head. That's called control. It doesn't matter what you say. You like to impersonate Elvis and 50s, 60s rock on your Facebook page. You would never in a million years show them what kind of nightcore videos you upload. And that's because you know exactly what it would look like. You know that vulnerable, a lot of times suicidal, emotionally lost young girls are lured to nightcore type music. You saw it firsthand with Caitlyn. You make me absolutely sick. You have no shame. And then you like to play this, you have this God complex. Everybody knows that whatever faith they have in whatever God or goddess they decide to worship, that is a reflection of themselves. That's all it is. So the fact that you use your God as an excuse to be evil and psycho and perverted and mac on underage girls, that makes you a sick fuck. Your Tony Baisley YouTube page, among your others, are absolutely sick. And I'm not talking about the videos that you have against me or Cherokee or Courtney or anyone. I'm not talking about those. Those are annoying, but they don't make me sick. The ones that make me sick are the ones that you upload to try to get young girls commenting on your stuff so then you can click on their YouTube channel and start leaving them messages. You're sick and you're see-through and you're disgusting and you make fun of the internet, but you spend more time on it than all of us combined. Unfortunately, the only people she's getting help from are toxic. I'm talking about those in her real life, not on the internet. Anthony helps her, but he has a lot to do with why Caitlyn isn't in the world anymore. Well, thank you for showing a screenshot of a comment that brings back really good memories from almost a decade ago, from when I was so naturally high and elated because I was about to give birth to a baby girl, like I've always wanted. And so, yeah, my voice went high up in pitch. And you know what's really cool about the way I live my life is I do things that are organic. I don't do things to please other people. I don't care if people it's everyone's right to be annoyed by me. So if people like, are so easily annoyed by a high-pitched voice when I'm excited to have a baby and I'm saying, "Come here, Timmy, kiss me." Oh, and that's all the people can focus on. They should probably do some inner reflective work. You know what I'm saying? Because there are true people around the world actually going around threatening and, luring young women and actually doing things that are truly, they make things like little annoyances look like nothing. And it's so funny what you say about Tim. You're not the only one who says that, by the way. Benedict also echoes what you say about how Tim's just with me for the kids. But what's absolutely hilarious is that he actually every single day constantly will ask me if I love him and if I ever he every single day needs reassurance that I would never leave and asks for sexy photos and things like that. And I don't, it's just, I don't have a noose around his neck, and I have my own source of, granted I don't pay all the bills, but I have my own source of income too that helps a lot. And with babysitting and all kinds of stuff that goes toward a good amount of bills. I think it's really funny that people like you and Benedict think that, I don't know why y'all think what y'all do, but that's, I guess, think whatever you want. But another awesome thing that I don't do is I don't determine my worth or my value on if a man is in love with me. Oh my God. I don't determine my value by that. I have 2 children. They're the ones I value, like their opinions and love are what is at the top of my priority list. Not a grown man's. Nope. Unless I'm in charge, unless I'm the grown man's caretaker because he's disabled or something, that's different. But no, I don't live my life wondering if, does he love me? Will he leave me? Is he only staying with me because of it? No. That's not like what I wake up wondering, or that's not what I go to bed caring about. It's also really funny when, outsiders, because I understand I look crazy. I'm dramatic and I'm loud, okay, and I'm emotional. So it makes me look like I'm crazy, But then Tim's, he's very quiet. And this is all surface level, okay, because he ain't quiet in the house. That's why I open up the front door when we get in arguments, because I know he'll stop yelling once I open up the front door and people can hear. So I understand what the dynamic looks like, but I just think it's really funny because he's the one that is constantly begging me to forgive his behavior. And it's not like I'm forcing him to apologize, because I actually kind of see apologies a lot of times as unnecessary. I mean, a person's either going to change or they're not, but he feels compelled to for whatever reason. So yeah. Anyway, way to deflect from what I was saying about you uploading those Nightcore videos. let's rewind to chapter 1 of what I was saying about you uploading those Nightcore videos. Yeah, all you can do is revert what all of us say about that back to us. You refuse to sit with what we're telling you, to sit with the facts and acknowledge them. I wonder why. Because there's nothing that you can say at all to explain why you do what you do that would make any sense other than you trying to lure young girls to your channel. I've seen the comments too that you've left on other channels of Nightcore videos to talk to young girls. It's so like, and I have no reason to think that this wasn't going on before any of us, other than you, discovered Caitlyn. I have no reason to think that you weren't already trying to talk to Caitlyn on Live Me. You just need to quit being jealous of everybody. And you need to quit being jealous of men who are young enough to date young girls. Or I guess I should say young guys who are young enough to date young girls. You need to quit being jealous of them. You need to quit being jealous of men who have kids and wives. You need to quit being jealous of women who get attention from men. You need to quit being jealous of popular YouTubers. You need to quit being jealous of men who can talk about a young girl like Caitlyn in a non-perverted way. You need to just quit with all this jealousy, and it doesn't matter what you say, because we all know that's what it is, because actions speak louder than words. So you need to quit being so jealous. You need to accept what you look like. You need to accept your age. You need to accept your circumstance, and you know what? Embrace it. You can find people who would be with you who are actually your age. Like, it wouldn't be that difficult. You have a job, it seems like. So just accept yourself. Did you know that harboring a bunch of anger can actually alter your DNA? Like, it can actually change the cells in your body. The way your chemical makeup is, the way the neurons are firing in your brain, that can actually be shifted around permanently based on how persistent your anger is. So keep that in mind. That might have a lot to do with your current state of, like, jealousy with everyone. They actually do say that people's like facial symmetry and stuff like that has a lot to do with their intelligence levels and stuff. Like it's been proven, like when they've done research on the just overall anatomy and just physical features of people. A lot of times like, for instance, they say the closer your eyes are together, the less intelligent you are. And that's been proven. I find that very interesting. Speaking of being ugly on the outside, I find it really interesting how he's constantly trying to make fun of your weight when Tammy, like all up until she started, with drug stuff, she was always overweight. And I just find it really, not just her, but most of the women in the family, except for Valerie, who works out all the time. But most of the grown women in the family were bigger. So I just find it interesting that his whole attack to you is saying oink oink. Like, hello, like the so-called love of his life has been actually overweight most of her life. So I just find that very interesting. Yeah. I think it's like he knows that like most women are insecure about their weight, and so that's the only reason he says that to you, is because since you're not stick thin, he thinks you might believe that you're fat. It's like he takes things that he thinks we might be insecure about. Like he thinks I'm insecure about like going back to the shelter, but what he doesn't understand is that when I've gone to the shelter, it wasn't because I had to go. It was my own choice. It was my own choice because I didn't want to have to deal with certain things that dealt with the relationship I was in. But in his mind, he's thinking that it was because like I don't know, for some reason he thinks that like Tim left me or something. And so like he tries to like that's his thing toward me is look Dizzy Tim's only with you because like as if I like care and as if you think you're fat and, like his whole thing he calls Ian a bitch because Ian is like emotional and quiet and sweet and sensitive. It's like he takes pieces of like things that he assumes and then like uses that as a weapon against us and it's just funny because all that he assumes is wrong. Just like how he insists that Courtney is a lesbian, and not that that's a bad thing, like, I don't care, but like, he uses that against her, and it's like, there's zero evidence to back that up. But because, again, his egomania, he assumes that because she's a strong, independent woman who takes action and has a very, like, just as a strong woman in general, like, he assumes that she has to be gay. And again, though, I think that's projection because he's already like on some of his photo comments, I've seen a male who's like sexually hit on him before, and he was like pretty like I don't know, I don't know if he was playing or not, but he seemed to be flirting back. So maybe there's some projection there. Maybe that's why he's calling Courtney gay because, you know, who knows? Honestly, why is it a competition for you? Caring about a deceased little girl should not be a competition. You care or you don't. Grow up. And why is menopause supposed to be an insult? You do realize that the very flesh that you're using to bang around on the keyboard right now will one day be rotting and eaten by bugs. Get over yourself. Look, if you're going to call people illiterate over a difference of opinion, learn how to differentiate you are from your when you write, please. I've seen people like that. I've watched documentaries on inmates, and a lot of them, the second that they're just asked, like, "Are you ready for the interview?" They're like, "Well, yeah." It's just it's a criminal, hate-filled mind. I think the mental wiring is off, is what I think, or it's from drug. It's drug induced. But it's selective with him. He stays, I think it's exhausting for him to keep up the fake persona that he has on his Facebook page for so long that he reserves his real self for us and other people on the internet like a coward because he can't act that way to their faces. Although that video where he's like marching through the hallway and going off on that black guy at his, I believe it was his institutionalized looking place he lives in, he seemed to be pretty hateful then. So, but I don't think he's trying to impress that guy. So he's, I think, consciously being hateful.
I love how you crop the shit out of everything you send. That little screenshot means absolutely nothing. Nothing. You crop the shit out of everything because you don't know how to tell the truth. That's all that is. And nobody gives a fuck about Tammy using you for money. Like, you keep bringing it up like we're supposed to respect it or something. All you're doing is paying for her drug habit. We literally, well, okay, let me just speak for myself. I literally do not give a flying fuck if you give Tammy $100 or $200,000 or $1 million. I do not fucking care. I don't care. And all of those people you just mentioned, Lori, Marie Lamb, Tina Saye, Marie, Steve Parrish, I don't know who Bex Kimball is, but all of those people are irrelevant pieces of shit that like to talk as much shit as you do. So if you're trying to speak on them in a good light, it's not going to work because they're not a good source of like credit. You bring their name up, it's not going to make you look good. It's going to make you look even worse if that's even fucking possible. Like you're just making yourself look stupider and stupider. I don't know how many times we have to tell you that Tammy's just using you for money. You just send a link, I'm not clicking on it. I don't know why you fucking send links, but I don't click on them. Even if you are giving Tammy money, do you think you're the only person doing that? Do you think you're the only one on this planet that's giving her money? Guarantee she is sucking and fucking for money just like she always has. She can't get a job yet. She can get on her knees. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But yeah, it's so funny that you think you're high and mighty for giving her money. Then that means that all the other low-life motherfuckers that she's fucking for money should be viewed in the same heroic light that you think you should. None of your fucking money has ever gone to Abby and AJ. So if that's what the point you're trying to make, you can stop right there, because it's not happening. It never has. Tammy's a selfish fucking bitch, and that's why she got her kids taken away, and that's why she's probably not going to get them back. And even if she does, she's just going to neglect them like she did before Caitlyn died. I do believe people can change, and I do believe that she can change. I just don't believe she wants to change. I know people like her, and I've spent my life around people like her. The only people that she likes to have around her are enablers. I mean, that's why her and Anthony didn't work out. Like, he didn't have enough money to enable her. Guarantee they didn't split up because he was molesting Caitlyn. Tammy couldn't give two fucks less about that. That's already been proven on fucking video. So it's probably just because of the fact that he couldn't keep up with her pill habit. That's all that I mean, it kind of says a lot whenever you're made to move out of somewhere. Instead of her pushing him out, he was made to move out by a third party. She doesn't give a fuck about her kids. And if you are giving her money, that's all you're doing is enabling her. That's literally all you do. But you're an addict, I guess you can, sympathize, I guess. But I mean, it's not heroic, it's not chivalrous, it's not it's not any of the things that you try to make it sound like it is. I give Tammy money, I give Tammy money, I give Tammy money. So the fuck what? Who cares? That just makes you stupid. I know damn good and well that I would never give that bitch any money. Ever, period. That just makes you dumb. You're really one of those people that just thinks that money validates you, even though I'm pretty sure you're just pretending to have it. But you think that money validates you just like you think believing in God validates you. It doesn't. Being a good person validates you, and sending someone money because you want to have control doesn't make you a good person. Like, best case scenario, that's literally what's happening. If you are sending money, it's because you want power. And you're not really getting it. So keep on looking fucking stupid. No sweat off my back. No, Courtney gets donors and she makes sure that it goes to the proper place and not to Tammy's pills that go up her nose. Like, she makes sure it goes to the proper place. You just send Tammy money because you want it straight from the source that you're giving money, which nobody. I found your other band, by the way. It's in the bedroom. But giving Tammy money doesn't mean shit, and you've never done anything for Abby and AJ, which is all anybody cares about. So, I mean, who paid for Abby and AJ to have a Christmas? I'm pretty sure that was Courtney and her donors. Who paid for them to have Valentine's Day? I'm pretty sure that was Courtney and her donors. So, you're just stupid.
I hope you don't have to follow code when you're building those because it's actually really scary to think of the falsehoods you state with such conviction and that same brain building things. Out here in the States, Republicans refer to liberals as snowflakes. So just saying that's what when you call people snowflake, you're like sounding like a Trump supporter. You make fun of someone who loves Caitlyn, like Cherokee, but then you don't do a single mockery video or anything like that. Not that I encourage you to bully people, but your targets are so weird. You don't make a video mocking the man that is saying with shamelessness that Caitlyn is burning in a hell for eternity. No, you leave him alone. You don't make videos making fun of Lukey Poo. You don't make videos making fun of, as you call him, ants in his pants, Anthony. But you mock people who care about Caitlyn. And you're not in our heads. You can't say whether or not we really care. Fact is, none of us have made fun of Caitlyn or said that she deserves to be tortured in eternity like certain other people have that you don't mock. All your focus is ever on, all you seem to talk about is view count, sub count, competition, who has the most information. That's all you're in this for, is control and competition. And that's why you don't care about the antagonists and criminals in Caitlyn's life, because that doesn't play a role in your competition right now in this current time. It's just, I don't see how you don't see how we see that. Or maybe you do realize that we see it. Who knows? But Caitlyn wanted Anthony's balls chopped off. But yet the one that you're uploading a video making fun of is Cherokee. But never of Anthony. And every time I bring that up, you never acknowledge that. Ever. It doesn't matter whether or not she was technically raped, because you just love to do semantics. Fact is, Caitlyn detested him. Caitlyn, you love to speak for Caitlyn. You love to speak for Tammy. Well, Caitlyn said it herself on multiple occasions how much she hated Anthony. So what is the deal? I want you to acknowledge that. Like a man. Acknowledge that. And Anthony, I know for a fact, watches YouTube because he one time left me his number and told me to call him. And he remarked on how old he thought I was, which shows that he's tuned in, which is a little frightening. But my point is that shows that he does interact, even if it's silently, on YouTube. And so do his daughters. And it makes me wonder, just because of your vigilance, like, toward attacking us, the people that have badmouthed him, it has to make me wonder if one day that he was online and he saw your hate speech toward us, if he contacted you like he did me and said, like, hey, man, just man to man, I just wanted to tell you thanks for all you're doing, man. These people just come after me. They're just like parasites, man. I just want to thank you for being there and sticking up for me. I mean, is that what this is about? Like, did that make you feel this, like, sense of manhood or something? Because you do realize that getting mad at the people who badmouth Anthony, that is, like, literally by default making you Caitlyn's enemy. Oh, there you go again with your jealousy, calling this house rich, even though it's falling apart and not even my own house. And I didn't even live in it for years when Tim was living in it, because the kids and I were in a shelter like 3 times. Oh, your jealousy is so see-through. Don't get mad at other people because you live in a freaking institution. Anyway, you do confine your quote-unquote action to lip service. That's what you do to everyone in this chat room. Yes, it is. It doesn't matter what you say you've done to Anthony because you haven't done to him what you've done to any of us. We see what you do to people you don't like, and you haven't done that to him. So you can keep saying that all you want, but actions speak louder, and you sure love to type, and do your lip service, your comfortable lip service toward us. So don't even give me that. And by the way, just like how you call Courtney a lesbian, just like how you call Courtney a lesbian, it's not insulting to call me a slut. There are many so-called sluts who are good people. I mean, Elliot Rodger never slept with a girl. So he definitely wasn't a sexual slut. But he sure took the lives of many innocent people, didn't he? So call me a slut all you want. You know, it's really interesting. You've made me think. When I actually first started talking about Caitlin, when I first discovered her, the kids and I had only been living in this house for a little over a month. Actually, not even a full month. And before that, we were in a hotel for 2 weeks before Christmas, not knowing where we were going to go. And we had before that been in a transitional house living with drug addicts. And then before that, we were in an actual shelter where it was even worse in terms of drug addicts. And I'm not talking like pot smokers. I'm talking the kind that will steal your stuff and curse you out if they're needing their fix. And we had no transportation. We had no phone. And so it was in a lot of ways a living hell, especially in negative temperatures, having to catch buses just to take my kids with me to job interviews. I call it institutional looking because whenever you have filmed in your place, it looks like there is no sense of home. It looks like everything institutionalized. Have you not ever heard that term? It doesn't mean that it's an actual institution. It just means that there's no personalization. It's like every little room is a duplicate of the other one, and it's cold and it's very, and I don't mean cold literally. I mean it is just, there's no life in it. And that's what your place looks like when you have filmed from it. And it's amazing that you call me self-serving. Honestly, everyone, if they care about humanity at all, they're going to be a little bit self-serving, because if you're not a little bit self-serving, then you're not taking care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. So maybe that has a lot to do with your problem, Tony Baisley. I actually got I got personally congratulated from the county for being brave enough to take my kids with me to the shelter when Tim was going through his drinking binges. Because most women, if they don't have transportation and they don't have a phone, they won't be brave enough to start from scratch. I was brave enough to do that. And I worked at my kids' school, so I got to be with them the entire time. I've been personally congratulated from the county workers. The people who... So anyway, honestly, you're the last person that I can think of on the entire planet, because you're a predator and a pathological liar and druggie who needs to tell anyone who deserves to have their kids or not. So coming from you, I think it says good things about me that you would have bad things to say about me as a parent. If you had good things to say about me as a parent, that would be when I'd be concerned for myself. I'd be like, oh my God, this lunatic thinks I'm a good parent. Oh, I would really start reassessing my parenting role. So I'm glad I didn't get someone like you. I'm glad I didn't get your approval. Okay. You do actually kind of look like one of the dwarfs, so it's funny that you said he, hi ho. It's back to work I go. Yeah, you. I'm actually gonna post a picture of the dwarf that you remind me of from Snow White. But speaking of hysterics, I find it hysterical that you say I sound hysterical whenever I speak dramatically, seeing as even your relatively calm voice, if someone were to ask you to pass the pepper, would be, "You want the pepper? Sure, here's the pepper." It's like you always sound like you're on the verge of a breakdown. But 9 times out of 10, when you do talk to somebody, you do sound like you're having a hysterical breakdown. So it's a little misogynistic of you if a woman talks with dramatics and sounds angry that you say she's hysterical when that's like literally your everyday voice.
Yes. Action. No. Well, unless you consider action, bring your brother and sister. Break, like, climbing up behind it and literally kicking it. Yeah, it's broke, but you live in Hawaii, bruh. That's cool. I always wanted to go to Hawaii. It sounds like a fun place. I live in Georgia. I live in Georgia. It sucks ass. It's cold as fuck. We didn't have, I didn't have any action. I'm a virgin still. I'm still a virgin. I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin. You live in the South. Yes, I do. I live in the South.
Did you notice that he never was able to acknowledge the fact that he does his comfortable lip service toward us on here, but not toward Anthony? Did you notice that? Do you catch that? How he completely bypassed that? He says it's because he handled things behind closed doors with Tammy in terms of Anthony not getting custody of the kids. But he was Caitlin's biggest antagonist. Caitlin said multiple times that he told her to hang herself and that she was worthless, a whore, and tried to touch her. So why is and I'm not going to call it lip service. It's slander and verbal abuse is what it is. Why is that reserved for us, but not him? of course, that's a rhetorical question, but I would still like it acknowledged. It needs to be acknowledged. And I don't want to hear this mess about what you've done. You slander us online all the time. Why not Anthony? Why do you go after the person that caught Anthony trying to hook up with an underage girl like Cherokee? Yeah, Cherokee, I asked him up earlier in the conversation. I don't know if you saw, but I asked him to say why he never goes after Anthony. And his whole reasoning was because he says he and Tammy have done their own work behind closed doors to make sure he doesn't get custody of the kids. And then he says that we're the ones that do the comfortable lip service. It's like, yeah, right. Like, why does he still, though, not go after Anthony? I want to know why he does not go after Anthony online. He can't answer that like a man. Right. I told him that I feel like, because, we know for a fact that Anthony watches our videos, because remember that time he left me his number and he talked about how old he thinks I am, which shows he watches us, which is really sick considering that all of Caitlin's videos are on YouTube. And anyway, I told him that I feel like it would not surprise me if Anthony reached out the same way that Anthony reached out to me and was like, hey man, I just want you to know, man to man, that I really appreciate all you do for me, going after all those parasites that make fun of me and talk shit about me. I really think that that Tony and Anthony have had a conversation like that. I really do. And the only reason Tony won't talk about it is because he knows that, he was pretty much Caitlin's number one. I can't even call it antagonist. I consider him a freaking killer. And Tony calls the internet her killer. No, Anthony was her killer. And the SSRI medication just played a big role in it, but it was not her number one killer. Anthony was her number one killer. I am pretty sure that had she been on that SSRI, still being bullied at school and still being on Live Me, if she had a loving, caring, doting father that ensured that she felt confident and loved and taken care of and did not touch her sexually and didn't tell her to hang herself, she would still be here. But this is the one person Tony won't make a video about or slander online. It's amazing. I don't see him going on Facebook and sending videos like he has about us to our relatives. I don't see him doing that to Anthony's daughters and saying, hey, look, this is what your dad said to Caitlin. I just thought you should know. No. If he wants to be that kind of person online where he's like, inserting himself into people's lives, he could be doing it in a fair way, but he takes up for the predator. He did the same thing with Tim. He's tried multiple times, like in over the last 2 years, like he's tried multiple times to get Tim pissed off at me. And he's like told Tim to curve me, like curve your woman and all this stuff. It's like he fails to understand that not everyone is a misogynist like he is. Like he can't possibly grasp the idea of a male being wrong in any kind of relationship, whether it's a father role, a husband role, no matter what, the woman must have done something. The 12-year-old little girl must have done something to provoke this male, or else she's lying. It's so twisted. That is exactly what Tim has said before when I've told him everything that everyone in this entire situation has said and acted. That's exactly what he said. And he also said the same thing about a certain someone else that was actually one time talking to us on a nice level, but I won't mention his name in here, but I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. Well, I think it's a mix of him being attracted to Tammy because she looks like Caitlin, but I think it's also a mix of, and I'm saying this because the words have come out of his mouth. He has constantly talked about Rod making money off royalties of Caitlyn and stuff from writing about her online, from writing books and stuff about her. And why would Tony's mind even like steer in that direction? Again, that's projection. I feel like a lot of the reason that he glommed on to Tammy and took ownership over her, or tries to, is because he sees Caitlyn as some sort of celebrity in his mind. And that's why he has referred to us as like media. And so in his mind, owning this celebrity's mother makes him feel famous or something. Because we all know Tony's obsessed with fame and sub count and view count and all this. It's all he ever talks about. Honestly, I love being in the hyped up mood that I've been in today. I am past the day I'm supposed to start my period. I love being in this mood around him. He called me hysterical earlier. I love it because I don't think he's had a female in his life talk in any sort of authoritative tone. You can tell in his life he is used to ordering women around. Just the things he has said to Tim about me and what he has told Tim to do to me shows me what he thinks a woman's role is in life. And little does he know, Tammy, of course, he's her bank account right now. But when Matt was talking about his relationship with Tammy, they were both pretty turbulent. She would try to stand her ground with him. So it's just really funny. He doesn't even realize that this like submissive Tammy that he's talking to is only submissive to the dollar sign. But I think he likes it like that. I think that's what he wants. I personally don't believe in spanking, but I would make an exception for Tony. I think he needs to be put in timeout for a really long time. He needs to write apology letters to everyone he's done. He needs to do some community service work. And then he needs to be spanked on his behind for like a full minute. And to go back to my point about him trying to get fame from Caitlyn, what's the number one thing he did from the get-go when it came to Caitlyn? Was he trying to further Caitlyn's mission to stop bullies in their track? Was he trying to cheer people up and talk them out of suicide? He was doing the opposite of Caitlyn's legacy. Not only that, but from the get-go, he started a website. What was it, CaitlynNicoleDavis.com or DollyWon'tDrown.com? He started an actual website and was putting the link in every single video comment, Facebook group, everything you could imagine. When he realized his page wasn't getting traction within like a month, that's when he started going psycho on everybody. That's his eyeballs in this whole thing were not for Caitlyn's heart. They were for something else. The fact that he even still communicates with Tammy and helps her the little bit he does, it is not out of love. It's all for fame. That's all. I've come to that conclusion. And even more so than that horrible gunk. Gunk's whole, like, addiction to becoming famous is more general. His isn't really, like, exclusive to Caitlyn, which may not make it better, but it doesn't make it worse. Tony's is, his whole fame thing is his eyes. I'm wondering how long they've been on Caitlyn. I still stand by the fact that he has talked to her before her passing. You want to spank his face with your fist? Another reason I think it's because of fame, or I know it's because of fame, is because when people have the heart and the care and the concern to still be on top of things when it comes to Caitlyn's memory, whether it's about, sorry, I'm brushing my teeth, I need to spit. Whether it's about her autopsy or court dates, what have you. Instead of being glad that there are people who care, he gets jealous and mad that they have information. I can tell you right now, the only person that would get mad over someone else having information is if somebody is hoping that in the near future, some sort of media people will come to him asking questions, seeing who has information. He's hoping he can be interviewed. He's hoping he can be in the spotlight. He's hoping he can attach himself to the story for fame. Look at his entire Facebook page. All he talks about is fame, 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 fame. I used to be this. I used to do this. This is me. I'm famous. Blah, blah. Like, that's all he talks about. Well, okay, to be fair, it's not on his actual posts, it's on all of his picture captions, on a lot of them. But anyway, yeah, that's The only reason that I won't say, I'm gonna spank his face with my fist. The thing about Tony is he'd probably whip out a gun. Like, if we were to all meet in person and you threatened to physically fight him, he would be the type, or he'd whip out his homemade bow and arrow that he talks about that he made as a kid, and he'd just shoot it right through your heart. Because that's what he does in words. Like, you can't get a word in edgewise, and then when you do, all he does is make up lies and slander.
A really, really good way to piss Tony off is to make fun of his views. Like, whenever he tries to do something to spite me, I'm like, oh, a good 12 people are gonna see that. That hurts my feelings, and that's really a good way to piss him off. And he talks about views, like, a lot. And Justice Through Awareness has got the most views on any of the Caitlyn stories, and I think that's why he hates all of us, is because all of us are pretty much the foundation of that.
Exactly. If you go on YouTube and you look at the people who've uploaded about Caitlyn and they don't have that many views, or they just didn't get that popular, he leaves them alone. He doesn't say a single thing. Nothing. Even if they got a lot of views just one time, that's not enough for him to, like, you know, routinely go after them. His whole thing is about being in the spotlight. And so, exactly, and I said that in the beginning. I said the fact, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way before I realized he was a psychopath. I was like, why is he even bringing up view count? Like, it was just so weird to me, because it was like, this is about a deceased girl who hung herself. You know, like, unless we're doing, like, gunk and we're saying, subscribe to my channel, you know, advertising something, you know, in the same breath that we're talking about Caitlyn, of course that's gross. But if we are wholeheartedly talking about what she did, and you know, sorry, the thing that he doesn't understand is that a platform like YouTube is one of the only ways that in this day and age a person can vent their feelings publicly in a free space, but at the same time in the privacy of their home or their car or yard or whatever, or in his case, a cave under a bridge. And you can do it on your own time. You can delete it if you want. It's in your control, but you can release those feelings. Back in the old days, people couldn't do that. And nowadays you can. It's just the reason that Caitlyn went to Live Me when she was feeling upset. It wasn't for views. It was because it was a release for her. The only person preoccupied with views I've seen so far have been Tony, Gerard, and Mr. Gunk. And the only people I've seen get mad at other people for caring enough about Caitlyn to be on top of things have been Tony and that Tina woman, whoever she is, the women in that one group that were just always squawking and mad at people who cared about Caitlyn like it was a big competition. Those people and Tony. So I guess he's so immature that he can't see that we can see through that. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me anyway, because when was it? Sorry, y'all don't have a really bad perception of time, but I know it was like the anniversary of Caitlyn's death, or else it was Christmas. I don't remember, but it was one of those. And it was the 1-year anniversary. And we found out because there were many eyewitnesses there, and y'all heard the conversation where I talked to Anthony myself, and his entire family was in the background chiming in the conversation, confirming what we talked about, which was that Tammy was at his place, it would make no sense that she wouldn't want him to have custody or cared to intervene when she's already going to see him, when she's associating with him, hanging out with him, drinking with him, partying with him. I certainly would not party with somebody if I didn't want them to if I would interject with them having my kids. In the end, though, he doesn't really care if Tammy's talking to Anthony, because it's not about love. It's about him attaching himself to the story for potential fame. He's made that very clear. Even when I've given him the benefit of the doubt, nope, he swings back around again with the whole, desire for fame. Sorry, I'm putting on makeup. So, I don't think he cares what Anthony does, or if Anthony had custody of the kids, or any of that. And anyone with half a brain knows that if you're in another country and you're not even a part of that family, there's nothing that you can do in terms of, getting stuff done, with who gets what kid. There's absolutely nothing you can do. It's even hard for people who are in the country and in the family to get stuff done. So it's even harder for some random old dude across the country. It doesn't matter how much money you're giving her. You think you're the only guy wiring her money? Think again. But yeah, so you can't, from a logical standpoint, it's the same way that you blame Tammy's broken family on our YouTube videos. That's actually really funny. That's hilarious. That's something that if this weren't a serious case, I would be laughing out loud about, because that's just hilarious. The fact that you would also call the family broken because of YouTube videos, not because Caitlyn hung herself. Yes, and the reason that he so badly wants us mad at Tammy and wants us to think that Tammy's going behind our back and telling him one thing and doing another, the reason he wants that sort of tension between us is because of that control, because of him wanting to have this fame, this potential thing that he's been seeing in his eyes since the beginning, which is why he made the website for Caitlyn instead of actually spreading, her voice, was, it's the same reason he wants there to be this imaginary, I don't even know what to call it. Tammy hasn't really actually done anything directly to us, and we've not ever done anything to her except want to help her. We've explored so many ways to see her get on her feet, and she's never, every time I've talked to her, all she does is refer to Tony as a lunatic and says not to believe anything he says, etc., etc., etc. And so I have no reason to believe anything he says that she's supposedly told him. But he wants us to hate her. Because you see, if he gets us mad enough at her, we just might lose it and, go out on a public rampage insulting her and stuff. And then he can be like, see, it's only me. I'm the only one that trusts you. I'm the only one that has your side. See, because that's part of the ownership. There's actually a term for it, and narcissists do it all the time, and it's called triangulation. That's what he's doing. He wants to be at the top of the triangle and have everyone quarreling at the bottom corners. That's why instead of, I've noticed when we all say good things about Tammy, instead of being like, good, I'm glad that y'all, have seen the light. I'm glad that, God finally, let you have an epiphany and see that she's actually not that bad. Thank you for helping her. I really appreciate it. The reason he doesn't take that route is because then his control, his grip on her is lessened. It loosens up because there are other people that are helping. He doesn't like that because then that threatens his ownership. saying that she's not a virgin if she was raped, like implying that, is like saying that if someone, like a kid, was held hostage and made to drive a vehicle, that would mean that they know how to drive and that they've actually driven. If her words are true, which I believe her words are very true, then that means that against her will, she was sexually violated, which means she did not actually partake in it, which means, yes, she would still be a virgin, because when you're not a virgin, that means that you partook in something. And he knows that. He knows that. But don't you see? He wants people mad. He wants everybody mad. And the only person I'm frustrated with is him. I'm not mad at Tammy. I'm disappointed in her. I'm mad at him, and I'm mad at Anthony. He wants everybody to blame Tammy for the fact that she was raped and molested. And unfortunately, certain things ensued, but once she was made aware, she did make him leave. So, haha, Tony, it's not working. I'm not holding it against Tammy. When you word it like that, when you lay it out like that, that is how Tony's been portraying it. And I mean, it's a fact, it's an undeniable fact that Tammy enabled what went on. So I agree with everything you said, Rod, but it's like I can't even agree with you without him because, you know, of his whole misogynistic viewpoint. He only sees women as sexual objects and nothing more. So, like, even me just agreeing with you, he would sexualize. Oh no, she agrees with everything he says. She wants to slob on his, what does he call it? His limp rod? She wants to slob on his limp rod, whatever, his disgusting perverted. It's so funny, too, because he believes everything he says. We all believe Caitlyn. There's only one person who doesn't. I don't even think... I can't think of any other person who's talked about Caitlyn in any way or written about her who has ever discredited what she has said. I can't think of one person. The only person I can think of doing that is Tony. Oh, and Anthony, the one that Caitlyn despised. Since he wants fame so bad, I don't understand why he doesn't. They have tons of auditions being held where he lives. And he even lives in a freaking venue that, like, it's part of a venue that constantly holds, like, all sorts of artistic endeavors, like, or events, rather. So, like, I don't understand why he doesn't take advantage of those. I mean, theater and movies are constantly looking for people his age, especially who have a character like him, who have a look like him, who have a voice like him. So I don't know why he doesn't take the opportunity to just go and audition and get out of his comfort zone and, you know, and stop being so insecure and just go and try it out. And then he won't have all this hatred for people who get a little bit of attention online. Because, you know, that's his whole thing, is trying to be famous. So maybe he should just go audition for things.